Goodbye. Me am not here to tell you about old Super Powers me, #1 Bizarro. So you know stay tuned. Is that bad?
The Bygone Hunter here, and welcome to Yesteryear and Beyond, the X Shorts, Episode 4. Alright, as you saw at the top of the show, this episode is devoted entirely to
the awesome Bizarro.
Thank you, Lex. Lex Luthor, everyone. Let's give him a hand. Alright, I bet you didn't see that cameo coming, did you? Alright, yes, this episode is about the short that I did on one of my favorite characters, one that has been near and dear to me for so long. And I know some people are going, are you kidding me? Really? He has to be one of the lamest ones out there in the DC universe. No matter how big and massive and buff he is, he's still just a goof. No, to me, he's not. Especially considering my introduction to this character was back in 1977, I believe, with Superman 305 and his cameo leading to a crescendo at the end of that issue, and then leading to the big battle in the next issue in 306. And who is that? Of course you already know because you watched the cold open. That would be the Mcfarlane Super Powers Bizarro. Yes, and he should technically be called the Silver Age Bizarro because of this little medallion right here. Because in the 60s, during the Silver Age, he was always depicted with that Bizarro #1 medallion. Now, on this figure, it technically should be smaller, maybe about half the size of this, because it shouldn't be constantly covering up the reverse S, the crest. And it always should be, off to the side. But yeah, this is really great. I like this figure, especially the classic look. And if you know me, I always prefer the classic looking characters, okay, all those classic versions, because those are the ones I grew up with. I am not fond at all of the depictions of Bizarro from post-crisis, really. I mean, anything forward. Ed McGuinness, oh my gosh, the way he depicted Bizarro, I can't hardly look at any of the appearances of him by Ed McGuinness. Is that an insult to Ed McGuinness? No, it's not. His artwork style is the way that it is, whether I like it or not. I'm sure he's got a lot of fans. He has a pretty big fan base, but it's just not for me. Okay, so that's just how it is. I prefer the classics. And this one right here, Mcfarlane knocked it out of the park with the chiseled features, the crystalline look, the white, off-white, grayish paint job. And yes, it definitely is a repaint, but the head sculpt makes the difference. And hey, they knocked it out of the park because they even reversed the crest, the S, on the cape. Now you're going to get all this anyway in the short that's going to show up in just a few minutes. But yeah, he has always been near and dear to me. And gosh, I think he was probably the second or third, maybe, villain, if you want to consider Bizarro to be a villain. Some people do, some people don't. Maybe an anti-hero, I guess. But I was introduced to Bizarro when I was very, very young, and he's near and dear to me because it was about the third. Superman 305 was the third comic that my father ever bought me as a child. And I tried to find those issues. I tried to locate 305 and 306 in my collection, and I just could not locate them, which really aggravated me because I wanted to have them right here for this. I know a lot of you could care less, but I wanted that. But this is not the only episode of anything from Yesteryear and Beyond that's going to be about Bizarro, alright? Trust me, I have a couple more things that are going to come out. So stay tuned. Get your eyes on it. And, but I guess without further ado, let's go back to episode 12 of Yesteryear and Beyond, the shorts, and February 28th of this year. And yeah, Super Powers Bizarro. Enjoy.
Alright, this is going to be a brief review of the Bizarro figure from the Mcfarlane Super Powers line. And as you can see, the packaging is really good. I mean, the artwork is great. Yeah, this is really nice. It's basically just a, I mean, Mcfarlane is known for his repaints, and this is nothing more than a repaint and a new head sculpt. And then adding that in, that Bizarro, that adding that emblem in, and you'll see once he's out of the package that the S is reversed. So let's see what else we have here. So now I know a lot of people who collect these have already done tons of videos on this figure, but I haven't. And so I'm just going to take a few moments here just to do that. And okay, well, let's crack this sucker open. And there he is with the initial inset removed. And you see how the cape pops out through the back. So you're getting a closer look right there. So let's get him out of here. Okay, so as you can see, look at that. Nice cape. Much better than the original one. The first wave or two that came out. Really nice. Yeah. So many people have already done the reviews on these figures, and I mean they move the arms and they show the articulation and the head and all that stuff. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to show you briefly up close here in hand, because I mean, they're toys, so hey, they're going to be in hand. Do you remember when you were a kid and you had these in your hand almost every day, these figures, always playing with them? How many of you actually put them in your pockets at the time? When I went to school, I had loads of Heroes and G.I. Joes, and I mean, wow, it's Micronauts, all that in my pockets when I went to school. But yeah, he really is a nice looking figure. I mean, for being a Superman redo. Like I said, I can't call him exactly a repaint, because yeah, while he kind of is, the head sculpt does change up things. Now, the only critique about the head sculpt is I think they could have gone a little farther with making the face look a little more stony, a little more chiseled looking in the face itself. But other than that, I think they nailed this down. They really did. The classic look is always better to me than the more modern takes on the character. Let me see if I get the other one over here from Justice League Unlimited, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now you'll see side by side the new Mcfarlane Super Powers Classic Bizarro, and which I was introduced to back in the 70s. Actually, if I remember right, I think it was maybe my third or fourth comic book that I ever read. And then we have right next to him the more Frankenstein sculpt, the sculpt to his head, kind of like a cross between a zombie and Frankenstein here. This Justice League Unlimited version, the S is normal, in the normal direction, however it's skewed quite a bit. And then you have the belt, which is just cocked a little bit. And then you have the Frankenstein type hands. I don't know. And of course, as with the Justice League Unlimited figures, there's no soft goods. It's all hard plastic, or more, maybe softer plastic rather. But you can see the difference. I mean, which do you prefer? Honestly, I always will prefer the classic, the original, to the new one. But that's my take. That's just my take, and it is blurring out here. There we go. So, hope you enjoyed this little, let me look at the back real quick. See how the back doesn't have the S on that one? So anyway, that's it. So, that's my little review, in hand, literally in hand, review of the Mcfarlane Super Powers Collection Bizarro. And that's it. So, to see more, check out Yesteryear and Beyond, and you won't regret it. Well, at least I hope you won't. So, adios for now. And by the way, get your eyes on it.